Hi guys, welcome to another Pieandbelle Art Class. This week we're going to do this ink and watercolour drawing of Frida Kahlo. It's only using 3 watercolours, so I'm only using the pink, the yellow and the turquoise colour, and I'm just going to make up as many colours as I can and just play around with them. We're getting ready for our September course, hence there not being that many uploads. If you'd be interested in coming to our actual courses, please find in my bio the email and the telephone number to get in contact. Thanks. So when I'm drawing a face out, what I like to do is draw the basic outline shape of the face, because that's probably the easiest thing to do because it's just a simple shape. And then I like to strike some lines through at the places where I can see her eyebrows and eyes, nose and mouth, and even the width of her nose I put in there. It just helps you kind of get everything aligned and in the right place. And then I do a basic little sketch. Now you can rub out all the kind of guidelines, but to be honest, even leaving them in, you're working in ink in this one, so you're definitely not going to notice them when you're doing it. Once I've got my basic little shape, I'm going to start with the lightest colour, which is of course yellow, out of my 3 colours I've got there. And I put anything yellow I can see in there, and then I'm going to choose the next lightest colour, which I think is pink, and I'm going to add the pink to the yellow to make orange, which is the next colour I'm going to do, and then I'm going to add the pink finally, and then I'm going to add a lot of pink to the yellow to make a kind of reddy colour as my final colour out of these 2 mixed together. So you see I've made a kind of peachy orange colour, and now I'm using it more as just actually pink. And then I'm going to work on her scarf and the flowers in the hair, so now I'm using it just as bold pink, you can see there. Making up these random things. And I deliberately used kind of a thicker brush for doing the flowers in the hair because I wanted them a little bit more clunky, I didn't want them really precise. And here as well, I put in the first stripe of colour, and then I just use water to kind of pull it all around and then add some thicker colour in so that it's kind of interesting and it goes all kind of splayed and strange, which looks really nice. This is my final colour, so if you add some pink to that yellow like you see there, you make this kind of reddy colour, which is really pretty to add on top just for some of the shadowy colours, and I've also put a little dot of that in those pink flowers up the top as well. I'm also obviously going to make her bright red lipstick that she was known for wearing, so I'm going to chuck a bunch of that red in with her lips as well. But as you see, I'm trying not to fill it up entirely because obviously there's no point in putting that base layer in if you're just going to cover it up entirely. So the next thing I am going to do is use my yellow and my blue, and I'm going to do exactly the same. So I'm going to not start with the yellow obviously because I've already done all my yellow, but I'm going to start with the lightest possible green, which is just the yellow and the blue mixed together. Then I'm going to add some of that red to that green to make a more natural green for the leaves in her hair. And then I'm going to start mixing them all together to make a kind of browny colour for her eyes and some blues to kind of get some shadow definition in her dress. So this is my browny colour. It's not a perfect brown because I'm only using those 3 colours, but it's good enough to put in. It's such a small area it doesn't really notice. And I'm making this kind of deep turquoisey teal, which I'm going to use as her earrings, and I'm also going to use as the shadows on her dress at the bottom. So I'm going to bring some of that in on the dress. And also when you're working really fast like this, you actually kind of play around and see how the watercolour works. Obviously you'll have times when you're putting it in and it's really wet, and you'll have times when you're putting it in and it's dried a little bit more, and then you'll have times that you're just placing it on top and it's completely dry. So you'll get to realise quickly, if you're doing kind of a fast-paced things like this, just how that kind of all works. So I'm using a dipping brush to draw all my details on. You don't have to, you can use just a normal fine liner. I just wanted it to be a bit more of a kind of illustrative feel, and I'm kind of playing around with it and making it up as I go along. Now I've got her features kind of in the right place, but you do have a little bit of room for playing around. Obviously once you put the line in, it's there, you're not going to get rid of it. However, you can kind of change things a little bit, which you'll see right at the end of the video. I kind of thicken out her eyebrows, I pull her hairline down. So just because you're drawing in pen doesn't mean that once you've just done a single line that has to be it and you're done. You can actually play around with it and kind of change it. You can add like those deep little pockets of shadows in places and stuff, which will mean that you have a bit more of a kind of room to change it up a couple of millimeters here and there. I also found that once I'd kind of completed this all, that I found her dress part at the bottom was quite boring. I mean, I didn't put all that pink that she's got on her actual dress in, so I bring in some metallic pen over the top of it. And with the hair, I really wanted the hair to be loose, so I'm not even filling it all in entirely. I'm not working around those flowers properly. I'm kind of giving it a quite loose feel, but then I'm bringing in some little stray bits of hair and stuff hanging out. And you can see here, look, I changed the shape of her face ever so slightly, and the shape of her eyes. So you have got a little bit of room, even though you're using kind of a pen rather than pencil, which you obviously know you can change. But you can see here I'm bringing in the metallic dots all over her dress, just because I thought that added a nice little extra bit. Plus it's metallic, so when it catches the light it's really pretty. That's actually a bronze colour, but you could use gold or silver. And I think now is when I just come in and tweak my little areas. I'm using a brush for this just because I find I have more control with the brush, but you could use a fine liner or still the dip pen. And I'm using the little fine brush to kind of emphasize her eyebrows a bit more and put in some more of those shadows and little lines. And that's basically it. I think we're basically finished. And there it is. I think that's a really fun one today. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.